सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm just going to say yes today. Yep. Ooh, this has been a few weeks. This has been definitely a very, very interesting couple of weeks. A lot of discovery, a lot of self-knowledge, a lot of surrender and contemplation and quiet times and action. I made a commitment to make my bed again. See, I'd stopped making my bed. I'm going to just start with that. I started making my bed again. Consciously making my bed. It's been really nice. I know this sounds pretty trivial to some people. Like, duh, like we make our bed, everybody makes their bed. Not true. I used to never make my bed. And the reason why I'm back to making my bed is because when I first got clean and sober, making my bed was a huge step in the right direction. I don't think I was ever taught to make my bed. I basically feel like I grew up as a feral child, actually. So I know it sounds trivial to some people, but it's a huge spiritual awakening for me. Just like any other action, I think spiritual awakenings could start from the inside, but they don't stay if we don't make them an action. If anything that we have realizations of stay inside our head as a thought or just as a feeling, we keep it and try to own it in that way. For me, it doesn't really work for long. I need to turn those realizations into actions. And there are so many different tools that we can use, coming from a 12-step point of view, coming from a Bhakti point of view, Catholic point of view, it doesn't really matter. It's really important to have and to find the things that work in our lives in order to, push us into that, or not even push us, just sort of usher us or sashay, however you want to look at it, in the right direction. So, and that's good, orderly direction. If some of you have a problem with the word God, I learned that early in the meetings that if you have a problem with the word God, use it as is that an acronym or a synonym? No, it's an acronym. GOD, good, orderly direction. That helped me a lot. At that time when I was in early recovery, those AA slogans, those acronyms that we always used, like KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and all those were fantastic, powerful things. So good, orderly direction. So this morning, every morning, good, orderly direction by making my bed is something that helps me again and again. It is an action. It is an action and not a thought. And that is very important for addicts like myself. I have the propensity to rest on my laurels until it hurts. And that's, that is a way, I guess. That's a way to change. And a lot of us learn that way. We don't move until, we don't change because we see the light. We change because we feel the heat. And it works. It's not the kindest and nicest way to learn change. And actually, in my old age, it's also not the only way that I change. I say it often humorously that it is mostly for, the huge things. That is how I do change, is to feel those fiery arrows in my butt. And then I start moving. But there's a lot of things where it's not like that. And I'm grateful for that. Coming into this next phase of my life, I have this need to go inward and keep it even more simple. I'm working on this writing of a 12-step book with a Bhakti lens. And it's like a 12-step workbook through a Bhakti lens. It's not like it is. And through this, I had been contemplating it's brought up a lot of questions, and it's been really great because it causes me to dive really deep into the things that I'm writing, because I really want to be specific. I would like to offer anyone who is reading it a real chance to look into some questions, and to seek those answers. And while doing this, I did it with myself. I dug into some questions, and I really was seeking answers. What a wonderful opportunity to serve. And while I was in this mode of wanting to serve, I also served myself, which was very surprising, because that's not what I set out to do. And I'm grateful, so grateful for that. And one of the things that I truly realized is that for me, just me, and maybe for many others as well. And let me add this before I get into that. I'm coming from a place of 30 years of spiritual seeking. I'm coming from a place where I have struggled and, lots of experience, strength, hope, and failures, if you want to call them that, and struggles and joys and all of that intense time on a spiritual journey through the God lens. And coming from a place now where I had mentioned before that I would like to be in a place of quietude and going deep within, one of the questions that arose was, so if the thing is there's a lot of reading and there are a lot of words. And in doing this research, I know a lot of people connect with words. Words are representative of anything. It's the way we communicate in this material world, and materially. And it can be a tool and a way to communicate to God. It can be a tool to communicate with your friends and your family. And it's a way to describe things. So a word is a description and not a state of mind, if you know what I mean. So in looking for the words in order to write this book, looking for those words, keeping it as literally clean and simple and less words, a minimalistic language of the heart, I came to understand the reason why I'm here, the reason why I believe we're all here. And it's one simple answer, and there's not a lot of words. It's to remember that we're part and parcel of God. It's to remember that we are here, and all of these things that happen to us here are tools to remember why we're here and who we are as these spirit souls, who we are as these eternal spirit souls who are part and parcel of God. Now that opens up a whole nother conversation about how we deal with that, and how, that's pretty much that's the basis. So in having this realization, it's been very, I would say, challenging. Well, not even challenging. I would say it's been very interesting to have a new lens to write with. Simplistic. a lot of people love all those words and reading those books and everything. Some people, like myself, there's this innate, heart-throbbing love of God, like literally heart-melting, throbbing desire of, it's such a heavy emotion that there isn't a word. I mean, some people can write things to wake that up in my heart. And some things are written that wakes that up in my heart. There are things, but there are a lot of other things, there are a lot of other things, like a typical jnana yogi would just love to have all those words in order to describe what that is. I can't have that. It's too much for me. I like to keep it real simple. My connections, sometimes, the thing is, my connection with God, like I said before, it has to be an action. And I have to find those actions that really get that connection. And what is that connection? That connection is for me to always remember God, always remember Him, them, she, him, all of it. And that's why I'm here. Why am I here? Why am I here? Okay, we can have so many, there are so many explanations. In our Gaudiya Vaishnav tradition, there's huge, it's like, it's all about that, right? And there are many processes. There are so many, there's 9 processes. There are so many ways, and I'm not going to go into those right now because that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's free information for everybody to look at. 9 processes of bhakti. Go look it up. Judge for yourself. There are words in every religion that can take you to that, because in the end, what we want to know is who we are. And often by wanting to know that, we figure out who we are not. We are not this body. We are not our mind. If we are not this body and we are not this mind, then who are we? And that's a question I just leave right there for all of you guys to, I'm not going to tell you what it is for you. Everybody should deeply think about that. Or they shouldn't, whatever, if you want to. It's there for you to deeply think of. And I love being on this journey. I mentioned a lot of like liberalism in my belief system, a lot of Unitarian thoughts. But as I said, I'm coming from a privileged point of view, this privilege of having 30 years of deep digging, researching, reading, doing, acting out in various ways. But it is important for me to choose one at one point. And I chose bhakti. And just because I chose bhakti doesn't mean that everything about bhakti is comfortable for me. It still isn't. There are things, bhakti practices that aren't comfortable with me. But I accept it as a whole. And I have not doing anything. It's free choice. I look at any religion, especially mine now, I look at it as a wonderful offer from God. God is not telling me if I do this, I'm going to rot in hell, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. No, these are offers. And when I'm ready to have those offers, when I'm ready to unfold, when I'm ready to take those things that maybe I'm not comfortable with, little by little, it's all there for me. Krishna is everywhere, every second. There's like nectar dripping from the sky at every single second. But I just don't see it every single second. But I know one thing for sure. When I do see it, and when I feel that deeply in my heart without words, then my life in that moment is fulfilled. There is nothing else that can fill that hole. Nothing. Nothing. So that's kind of my realizations this week. I hope this was at the least informative. I hope I could give that to somebody. You know, I find huge value in asking God to enter my brain and my heart while I'm writing. And it's a gift. If I can be a conduit of a rasa that I can offer, and Krishna uses me, what an honor, what a gift. And we can all have that, every single one of us, every single one of us. So I wish you guys a nice week. I don't know if that's even proper English anymore. I think it seems to be very German spoken in English language. Ich wünsche euch eine schöne Woche. I'm wishing you a wonderful week. Don't forget our Thursdays where we have our interviews. So have a great week. I'm off to India in a few days, and I will be doing the BKB Shorties there. Thanks for listening. I hope you like the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.